No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Won't stand still.
Your story is my story. Your story is my story.
Won't be shamed.
Your story is my story. Your story is my story.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-hosts are up and ready to go. Donna and Maria. Donna, how are you? Donna.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm just trying to survive St. Louis.
How is St. Louis these days?
Weird. It's weird.
I thought that was Austin.
Yeah. It's a weird place. Austin is like a normal place, right? It's got gentrification and they overbuilt and all that stuff. But it's not like this. This is a place where buildings just fall down where they stand. And schools are broken and losing accreditation. And then the other half of the town is just like, living on the botanical gardens and having garden parties for spring and going on about life like normal. It's very strange.
Wow. That's like a very big disparity there, it sounds like.
Yes, and it's obvious and deep, and people pretend that it doesn't exist. And that's what makes it strange.
So, thank you for joining us. Maria, how are you?
I'm okay. I got a little bit of a thing going on in my throat, as you can tell.
Yes.
Cough.
Bit husky there. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, just getting over something.
Well, hope you're feeling a lot better now. Yeah, I had a thing yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't like this. So if you guys want to give us a call, 813-239-9663, and you can email to dj@wmnf.org. So what's on the menu today, ladies?
Well, Iran war, for one.
Yes, absolutely. And where is BB? I have not seen a live shot of BB in about a week now. And it's kind of strange because he's the co-author of the war. So it's like, okay, why have we not seen him? Is he like in hiding? Has somebody like taken him out and they just don't want to say?
Now you better be careful, because isn't the FCC guy threatening to shut down radio stations for their coverage of the Iran war?
Well, I'm just speculating. I'm asking questions, so I'm not really saying anything.
You can't ask me questions, Liz.
I'm asking questions, and I'm not the only one. So, welcome to, the Third World War, brought to you by the Epstein Files. So that is, And guess what? Trump is trying to monetize as much as he can. Last week, there was a dignified transfer where the bodies of the soldiers come in. Here's Trump standing there with his white USA hat, which is some of his Trump merch. And it's like he's using this very solemn and sad moment to hawk merchandise. And it's like, what? And so the families this week of the dead folks who are getting transferred back over, the family this week said, no, we want a private ceremony. We don't want all the spectacle. But he still managed to get like a, what do you call it? Photobomb. He still managed to photobomb it. At least he didn't have the hat on this time. So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, I just don't know how much lower this person as a individual, as a human being, could go. I mean, the other thing that he did was he disclosed the personal health circumstances of two people in a cabinet meeting the other day.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just done. It was his chief of staff.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, it's like nothing is sacred. Nothing, I mean, you can't believe anything that they say because it's either shaded heavily on their side or it's just an outright lie. So, let's see. Pat in Sebring says, my favorite day when I get to listen to your show. Thank you, Pat. We have Steve in Largo. Let's see what Steve has to say. Hi, Steve.
Hey, I thank you guys for your pleasant tone, considering the last time I heard your show, which was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was some caller yelling at you, and you were saying, hey, we've given you your time, and you've had enough time, and you said what you wanted to say, and we have to move on. And this guy was like, I mean, I'm glad that he wasn't trying to physically attack the studio. It was insane. So, wow. Thank you for, putting up with that kind of harassment. But the thing I called about today is I found it on one of the only real journalism, investigative journalism outfits left in the United States, certainly not the Tampa Bay Times. It's called ProPublica. And they have a report on Florida's gestation slavery, especially how it affects black women. Mm-hmm. They have this report that 2 different black women, one of them, a doula, a birth sister,
Doula.
Doula, yeah.
Yeah, one of them, they were pregnant. They were in their delivery mode in the hospital, and the state of Florida steps in to completely take away their body autonomy, their medical autonomy, and force them to have cesarean sections against their will. Mm-hmm. In one case, the lady said, you know what, this ain't slavery times anymore. You don't own my body. I'm leaving the hospital. These clowns sent the police to arrest her and force her back. I mean, how come this isn't headline news in the so-called liberal Tampa Bay Times? I mean, this is Florida. I mean, are we back to slavery where the plantation owner, the Mesa, owns the black women and can tell them how and when to give birth? I'd love to hear some comments about this. And I'm going to say one more thing about this situation because it's based on this fetal personhood garbage law. So these Christian people, they ought to read their Bibles or at least understand some logic. They claim that the fetus is not a sinner, it's innocent. That only becomes a sinner that could go to hell once it's born. So, hey, wouldn't abortion actually be a blessing?
Oh, that's a lot of good thoughts you got there, Steve. But
Think about this, and I hope you guys have heard of this art. This. Look, we've gone past the point of passive resistance when they're arresting women and forcing them to have cesarean sections.
well, it's now a new thing, actually. When I was in law school, like 100 years ago, that's what I did my thesis on, was forced medical treatment of pregnant women. And so it's happened at least as long ago as approximately 30 years. So it's not new. It's gaining some traction. The news about it is here in Florida because there have been 2 cases, and they were both black women who were affected by it. So yeah, I mean, it's a problem. People from long ago have been predicting this very thing. It's like next we'll have pregnancy forums and stuff. So, Maria, Donna, any comments on Steve's observations there?
Yeah, I think that it's indicative of where we are as a society, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the monarchists are out, right? Like, we don't even have a monarchy. How are you a monarchist? Right? So if the monarchists are taking to the streets to announce their quest for blood and soil,
Yeah.
it's completely natural that the human form, which is aside from land, the sole generator of wealth on this planet for people who have less than good intentions for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't have drones for the labor colony, right, for the labor colonies, then how can people maintain their vast wealth and systems of oppression? And so it's no surprise to me that Black women would be the target of this, where they're losing their. We've always had challenges around bodily autonomy, women in general and Black women specifically, only because more people were interested in the absence of bodily autonomy for Black women. So none of this surprises me. Mm-hmm. And who's being targeted here is also shouldn't be a surprise for anyone.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But it's important that Steve raised the issue so that we can begin to have the conversation. But I do believe that, Liz, because you have this specific education in this, that it would probably be well that you lead a discussion on that in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah. This week we're talking about the Iranian war, though. So
Yes.
we'll keep that in our pocket, Steve, and we'll talk about it more in depth in the coming weeks.
There's a couple of things I wanted to mention about that.
Okay.
There used to be a statue in front of Columbia's medical school for J. Marion Sims, who was the so-called father of gynecology.
Yes.
And the study of gynecology, he was removed, and the reason the statue was removed is because it was recently discovered that the entire study of gynecology was on the bodies of enslaved Black women.
Yeah.
So it's not as if this is a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is unfortunate, however, that it's been going on for more than 250 years. I also recall that when during the first Trump administration, there was forced sterilization of women who were detained by ICE.
Right.
So women have always been the subject of the most dastardly of people's mindsets, where they could go.
Right. And as far as that's one thing that the MAGA women don't seem to realize is it could be them next very easily. And they just blow on by it. Oh, this is the best president. He's so Christian. No, I don't have the words even to describe how disgusting Trump is, because Epstein files, we're in war now because Epstein files. He's trying to distract us all from what's in them, and what we know is absolutely horrific. And we probably, if we knew the whole thing, we'd be out with pitchforks right now, because he's not the only alleged perpetrator. And it's like, okay, they booted out a whole prince in England, and we can't even hold anybody accountable here. We can't even have Ghislaine Maxwell in real jail. She's in some country club jail now. So
maybe she's in there.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Good
not.
point. Good point. Because it's like she's sitting up there wanting to make a deal. And what kind of disgusting person is she? Oh yes, I'll name names if you give me clemency. It's like, what? That tells me right there you're not sorry for your part in it, because it's like, oh yeah, whatever I can get out of it for me, that's where I'm going. So,
but listen, we run entire systems that are rooted in the oppression of the marginalized, right? Like,
yes.
We say the marginalized, and let me just stop there on the scenic route home. We say marginalized as if people just appear on the margin.
Right.
This is totally a contrivance of our society and its constructs, right? This is an offshoot. So people aren't born on the margins. Well, perhaps they are, but it's a very deliberate group of people, and it's created and cultivated through systemic oppression. Mm-hmm. And no one talks about it. Children, we're not talking about how Americans abuse children as a standard. We're not talking about how we abuse women as a standard. We're not talking about how we abuse poor people, gay people, disabled people, people of color, someone who is neurodivergent. All of these people come to resistance in our society. The resistance to opportunity, the resistance to experiencing self-regard and joy. We create these things. I think pedophilia is one such designation for the marginalized. I'm in air quotes here. Mm-hmm. If children don't have power, they are abused. They're abused in every possible way. People are murdered, it's enslaved and imprisoned for not having power or the money that leads to power and influence. So the fact that we have enshrined pedophilia in some way in our culture, that it's like an extension of so many other things, mm-hmm. should come as a shock to absolutely no one. It's equally appalling and horrifying. I'm not taking that away.
Right.
I'm just saying that when you look at the way our blocks are stacked, it's like it follows. It's a logical conclusion to all of these strivings of wealthy and famous people. I mean, remember a couple years ago at the Met, when they literally used like the Hunger Games as a theme?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're playing in our faces. They are. And so I'm always looking for a way to summarize what I'm looking at. What's the theme? What's the root here? And it's power and control of a few over the many, right? And it makes me think, girl, I have so many thoughts. I'm not going to do stream of consciousness on this radio, but I have a lot of thoughts about how things are going. And to me, it seems like there's a fiber that runs through it all.
Right. Maria, what do you think? Common fibers?
Oh, absolutely. There was a female pastor that had to resign from her church yesterday because it was discovered that she worked on Epstein's island.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was surprised because I read the headline that the pastor worked on Epstein Island, right?
Uh-huh.
I was surprised when you read the article, it's actually a woman who did that. And I don't know why I was surprised that it was a woman, and I'm like, the whole idea, first of all, that there's layers here, but there's that thread, right? Like, there's a woman who's doing this to younger women, who calls herself a pastor, right? Like, the religiosity of it, I guess, is what.
Well, look at all these, so-called pastors laying hands on Trump, praying for the war effort. It's like, who are you people? Let's talk to Bill in St. Pete. Hi, Bill.
Hi there. Thank you. I like your show.
Thank you.
I don't know if this is going to make any sense. So far, I agree with what I'm hearing. But the thing that may not make any sense is this, and it would take me about a minute. I did not vote for Trump. I don't like the man. I think he's vicious. I think he's evil. But I'm sort of glad he's in the office, and for this particular reason. Because he is in the position of power, and he was affiliated with Epstein in so many hundreds of thousands of documents that has his name, it's finally bringing to the surface. And somebody is finally doing something about it because of Trump, because of where he is and who he was affiliated with. And I really honestly think that if he was not in office, the Epstein files will be known about, but nobody would do anything about it. And they're finally doing something to protect these women, okay, who have been fighting for years for justice. And they're finally, hopefully, getting closer and closer to something that is going to give them some sanity, some relief of what they've been through. Does that make any sense?
I get the premise, but I would disagree that anything is being done to, in England, yes. In the United States, no. They're not doing anything except giving lip service. In fact, Pam Bondi the other day testified that, there's nothing here. This is just, rumor and innuendo.
Well, it's going to take just one. When I used to sell real estate a long time ago, our thing was you may get 10 no's and eventually you're going to get a yes. So here goes. Somebody, somewhere, somehow, is going to rat him out, and it's going to be big time. And they eventually get, even though it's in the paper that Bondi is saying it's nothing, don't worry about it, sweep it under the rug. It's at least in the papers where it was never in the papers before. And Europe is doing something about it because they're a whole different culture and they do things. But eventually it's going to float on this side of the Atlantic and something will be done. I have a good feeling about that. I'm not signing
Man, on that he gone.
All right.
What's that? All right. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Bill. Bye-bye.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was the prince or the former prince?
Yes. Oh my God. I want him to roll on everybody so bad. So bad.
Because he is that guy. You know what I mean? He is that guy.
Can't believe I don't have my title and my palaces. I'm gonna burn it all down.
I lost everything, and if I lose everything, you all know.
Yes.
The kind of guy, right?
I can't wait for that, Maria. Let's talk to Jeanette in Dunedin. Hi, Jeanette.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I have my radio on. I just wanted to vent for a minute about how other Christians, or I wouldn't just say maybe not just Christians, but everybody who's trying to feel or look like they're awesome people are always running around where I live and maybe other places in Florida saying, I don't judge. I don't judge. They're constantly saying, I don't judge. If you say anything negative about anything or anybody, they'll say, well, I don't judge. But I'm wondering, why aren't they judging the people that aren't they judging people like Epstein and the people who are doing horrible things? Like, they're always saying they're so against crime, and they're so, against all these in quotes, Muslims or whatever. They're always against all these race. They're always sparing their racism, but they're always saying they don't judge. And to me, that's just so hypocritical and so off-putting, because whenever I say anything anymore, it's like, oh, you can't say that. And that's also fascism. But, it's almost like, oh, well, we can't put Trump down because he's our savior.
Huh.
And so we can't let anybody judge him because it would make him look bad. So we just say we don't judge. But everybody everywhere is judging Trump.
Of course. Well, everybody judges.
I'm always floored when I hear that because I do not know I have no idea what to say.
I would meet them with some words they may not have heard before if they were really good Christians. But.
That's what I mean. It's like, oh, so you don't judge racists and you don't judge murderers.
Right.
And you don't judge people who bomb boats out in the middle of the water for no reason?
Exactly. Yes.
Really, really frustrating living here.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, there's a good section of the U.S. population that has drunk the Kool-Aid, and that's the party line. And whatever, I don't know where they get the party line from because it's very similar, if not identical, from person to person. So somebody's programming them. Yeah. Yes.
It's a cult.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, Jeanette.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
I think that's a good time for us to bring up Governor Abbott and him denouncing Cesar Chavez Day, right? Mm-hmm. Because of and he's right, horrific allegations of Dolores Huerta. I think that he is in denial, like so many people, and he's saying, "Oh, these were horrific allegations," right? Mm-hmm. It's not been adjudicated in a court of law, and so they stand as allegations. Do we believe Dolores? Yes, we do. However, the same allegations were made by Stormy Daniels, and it was adjudicated in the state of law, and yet, like you said last night, Liz, he's still on the Trump train. Yeah.
It's like, okay, what about all these other folks who are, going to Epstein Island? Yeah, convicted. Yeah. And it's, it's red meat for his base because it's like, owning the libs once again because you're taking away Cesar Chavez Day. And it's like, okay, what about why are we still
real for real?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's very much a dichotomy because they're all about, prosecuting the libs and not so much their own bad actors. So, yeah, there's that. Maria, any thoughts?
I just said it. I think, there's an obvious racial tint to what Greg Abbott is talking about. So, he's not willing to. I bet you any minute now he'll name an airport after Donald Trump.
Oh, of course, yeah, or Charlie Kirk. I mean, it's like that has been the new standard of tribute is naming stuff after Charlie Kirk or Donald.
You know what? Which is so Animal Farm.
Yeah.
And Charlie Kirk thing is so Animal Farm. Up is down, down is up, good is bad. Virtue is sin, sin is virtue. You can just see it happening all over. And I am still trying to, all these months later, trying to put together, this was like September, right? Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to put together how Charlie Kirk, who was always saying horrible things about people on the margins, how did he become a national hero? When did he become the barometer for good deeds in advancing free speech?
Right.
It is pure madness.
He was, sitting there, putting up his little tent at college campuses and debating children, if you want to say, because they weren't, fully formed adults yet. And it's like, okay, yeah, I could go, set up a tent anywhere and argue with somebody that was well less equipped than me and look like I was winning. But what's the fun in that?
Yeah, I remember being a 16-year-old high school, and I was wearing majorette boots that day and a short skirt. And Montel Williams came to my school. He was a Navy intelligence officer at the time, and as fine as he could be, honey. Ooh. I knew that even as a kid. And listen, he said that who believes that you should be able to do drugs if you want to? Like, he was talking about ending legalization.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I was the only kid in the whole school. Because of course I was, right? And back during that time, it was just because I was crazy Donna Davis, right? Mm-hmm. But now looking back on it, I stood up in those white boots and I gave a full-throated endorsement.
I can see it. I can see it in my head.
Yes, ma'am.
Did your majorette boots have like little tassels on the front?
They didn't have. They had like little designs, like holes in them.
Ah, okay.
They put it in the paper. It was in the Jacksonville, where was it? The Times Union. Uh-huh. It was in the Times Union. They put it in the paper. And I told him that barring any offense to family, friend, and community, you should be able to just take your coins and go into an opium den and do your thing until you're done. And the people were just, it's a Christian town, it's a military town. So everybody was aghast. And it was just like, this is proof of concept that Donna Davis is insane. Okay. All right. Okay. A little bit. I'll grant that. But come on. 40 years later, look, 30 or 40 years later, look at that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And here we are with, we walk into a dispensary and buy yourself some drugs.
Right.
And in parts of the world, you can go buy yourself some serious drugs, some controlled substances.
Right. So, yeah.
A woman before her time.
You were. Absolutely. Let's see. Bubba says, I'm tired of the DUI hire Hegseth. He's the worst of unelected bureaucrat, the Nazi kind. I call him the Secretary of Excursions. This guy is, wow. When if and when the Nuremberg trials come around for round 2, he's going to be front and center. Let's see. This is
Can we start a campaign that Where is BB campaign?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just started right there.
Hashtag Where is BB? It's probably been done, but we'll think not. Let's talk to Jack in Dover. Hi, Jack.
Good morning, ladies. It's good to hear your voices. I've been enjoying your show this morning.
Thank you.
You have a lot of good topics. I'm just going to talk to you real quickly and ask you a quick question. Have any of you or have all of you by chance had an opportunity to see on Facebook the Baby Podcast Network of Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Senator Kennedy? Specifically the one where they were in Ireland, in a bar in Ireland, and they were doing a trivia contest about questions like, what is the capital of Ireland?
No.
Things like that.
It's
you mean
babies?
When they show those AI babies talking like
I
adults.
can't stand AI babies. I stay as far away from them as I can possibly get.
The writers, I swear, if one of them were to run for president, I would vote for them because it is hilarious the way that they portray Joe Biden, where he just can't remember anything. He dropped his beer last night 2 times and didn't remember dropped it. He was looking for his green beer, and President Trump was dancing the jig. And oh my God, if you have an opportunity to watch it, I mean, these kids that are doing this are certainly talented. And I know it's not, I know we shouldn't really laugh at, our politics and our government. I mean, I wrote comments. I've been writing comments about Epstein and President Trump. And the comments that I've been writing are that I can't believe in my worst of nightmares that the Republican Party did invent or, at least look into the possibility of Epstein being a conflict before they even put him up as a president to be voted for. And if they did and he was elected, I believe the Republican Party knows that they needed a distraction from, I guess, a possible impending war. If Iran and Iraq back each other, when I was in high school in the 70s, they were saying that is going to be a disaster for America. And so it's like this preemptive strike. We're going after them first because they feel like it's going to be inevitable with what's going on in the Middle East. So we're just trying to see if they can push them back far enough to where they won't be as big as a threat as they were perceived to be in the 1970s.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Jack.
You're welcome.
All right.
And watch that podcast. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It was hilarious.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Which brings us, speaking of creating chaos as a decoy and doing skullduggery, let's for a moment bring our attention to the SAVE Act.
Yes.
Right along the lines of what Jack was talking about, right?
Right.
So that's so we're having all this chaos. We've got Prince Andrew in distress, right? Mm-hmm. The Epstein files have roiled their earth, and we don't know where Benjamin Netanyahu is, right? Who is the author of so much death and chaos, right? We called Saddam Hussein the butcher of Baghdad. We have not yet come up with a comparable name for what Benjamin Netanyahu and his lieutenants have done. Now, the SAVE Act is going to create utter chaos at the polls in November.
Yep.
And we can focus long enough to really work through what this impending chaos means for us in November. Because they understand right now that they've done so many horrible things, right? Even MAGA, there have been MAGA defections. A lot of the people like Joe Rogan, the podcasters who this reign of terror and horror is brought to us by, have defected. That's convenient for them because they're richer than God.
Yes.
And now they've changed their minds now that they have the rest of us caught in the octopus net. Now, the SAVE Act, if we're not paying attention to that and we're not gearing up locally, because that's where this battle is going to take place, right? It's divide and conquer. The states who are going to participate fully in this have already signed on. Places in Texas. I mean, Texas is like, if you work in this industry, in the industry that I work in, which is anything political, particularly where it concerns field operations, we are all headed and aiming for Texas right now. I believe that I will be in Texas this summer. And I will probably, under my own company, run the voter registration programs in the state of Texas. So Texas is ground zero. It's like the next Florida, but better, right? There's more chance to win in Texas. People are a little bit more sane, a little bit better educated, from my experience of working there. So while everyone has their eyes trained on the chaos, while all of the consultants and activists and organizers are pushing into the great state of Texas, we are not properly. We're having No Kings protests. I read something the other day, hyperbolic. Oh, there's going to be 13,000 No Kings protests, right? And I will call that, it's like Jasmine Crocketism. Yeah, we're getting this guy told, we're reading him for the gods and whatever you want to call it, but nothing is happening at the organizational level to bring about real change.
It's performative, purely.
It's purely performative. And if they learn nothing from BLM, it's that you have got to attack this thing at the systemic level. Mm-hmm. And that's not happening. We're simply shaking our finger and scowling and scolding, but we're not building institutions to confront this. Right. We are not ready for November and the chaos they're going to cause. And when the smoke clears, we're going to be back in the saddle with these same clowns. And at this point, they have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Ooh, that's depressing.
But you know what? Maybe white women need to get mad enough to stop voting with their oppressor.
Right. And so far it has not happened.
Right. And maybe this is just the straw that breaks the camel's back, that gets them to see that their vote has actually caused a great deal of harm. 52% of them. Yeah, I don't want any more emails or text messages saying not all white women.
Yes. Let's talk about that for a second, because that was a jump off point I had from last week. Somebody wrote, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but somebody wrote in and said, let's see, while I agree with your caller and appreciate her passion, it does seem appropriate to point out that white people are no more of a monolith than any other group of people with similar skin color. Yes, the Trump cult is primarily white folks who have allowed themselves to be conned, but there are those of us who are able to see past skin color and not pretending to not see it. So
we don't have the luxury of pretending anymore. We need y'all to go get your girls.
Right.
Go get your girls.
And that is the whole thing. You know, when you say things like not all white people, not all men, well, if it doesn't apply to you, why are you even bringing that up? We know that all the white people in America are not a monolith.
And not only that, it's like it's sort of like absconding responsibility, right? Like not all anybody, not all black people, not all Latinos, not all this, not all that is fine to say. But at the end of the day, we're not individuals only. We also are part of a community and a collective. So yes, you might not be guilty of those particular sins, but you have a collective responsibility to go get your girls.
Right.
Well, there's no heavy lifting here, right? The caller, the writer actually disproved. They made a statement, right? The main idea was not all white people. And then they went on to disprove it by saying, but there's so many of us who are doing this. We have Trump.
Right. Yeah.
So there's no heavy lifting in responding to that statement. They did it for us. They said, yes, we have collectively given you Trump, but it's not all of us.
Right.
Well, so the way our voting population, the way our representative democracy and electoral college are set up, we don't have to have everybody.
Yeah.
Fix yourself.
I predict that the white woman wave of disconcertion at Trump is not coming anytime soon, because they're very comfortable in their little perches until it hits them and hits them hard. They will still be riding with Trump. So
you know what? Contrition often comes with crisis. Right. So once you have someone, say uncle, it's usually because they are at the point where they cannot take anymore. I don't see how the prime beneficiaries of white supremacy and white male dominance are going to give up those perches and these salon blonde hair jobs. Right. No, if you look around, white women are becoming more white.
Yes.
And whiteness is so prevalent and vogue at the moment that even people who are in proximity to whiteness are becoming more white. So all the work that we did to disabuse people of the notion of white superiority is eroded and gone the other way in response to that pressure of saying, hey, let us have our hair the way God gave it to us. The Crown Act. All of that stuff, Michelle Obama in the White House, all of those things have brought out peak caucasity in the population.
Yes.
Look at Florida Latinos. They're becoming more white.
Yes.
So whiteness is not going anywhere. It's not taking a break. And it's not being nice. It's not playing nice, as you can see. Pete Hegseth, I only speak American.
Oh,
and what? And
Mayo,
what,
Pete, no.
No, Hegseth, what, pray tell, is American speaking? I mean, what are you talking about? You don't
You
even
know
get
what? And it's this guy is a Harvard graduate, right? Like, what is this performance? Yes.
Yeah.
Was he legacy? Is he a legacy baby?
I have no idea. I'll look it up while we talk. I just think I am just how do I see this? Even if he were a legacy, right?
Right.
He has decided that it's like the George Bush, doubling down on the George Bush approach. He graduated from Yale.
I was about to bring that
acting
up.
like he wasn't a legacy.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yep.
trying to get all country and stuff like that.
Right.
When his father was the most patrician person.
Oh, God.
And former head of the CIA, don't forget.
Former head of the CIA.
There's a whole...
Bunkport, Maine.
Yeah.
Bring that word back. Bring back patrician.
Yes.
Okay.
Patrician.
Bring
I
back
like it.
plebeians and patricians, please. Let's go.
Let's talk to Shelby in Tampa. Hi, Shelby.
Hi there. Good morning, Queens. Really great to hear from you today. I love Donna. I've known Donna known of her adjacent for about a decade, if not longer. She's an amazing person, and I love everything you're doing today and talking about. I did hit your show or tuned in at the end of it. You know, for me, I appreciate people wanting to collect. I really don't believe, honestly, in protest anymore. I think that might be what you were.
I don't either.
Yeah,
same.
Never have.
I think it's a notion of like a collective mourning when we come together. But outside of that, like, we really do have to like act within our government. And so, when the SAVE Act became present of being like jeopardizing, mine and yours and every other woman's voting rights, then all of a sudden something else happened, and sometimes my head is freaking spinning.
Yeah.
With how much nonsense is absolutely going on these days. And so as a white woman, as a person that cares, as someone who loves their neighbor and wants to see myself and my sisters in the world continue to be able to speak their mind and vote, what outside of showing up with a sign, and what truly do you think is there to do? Who is it? Calling the representatives? Is it showing up at council meetings? What really would make a difference?
I was about to say that. So now listen.
Okay.
Listen.
Thank you, Shelby.
You cannot, Shelby, you cannot have 10,000 people in the street and 17 people at the city council meeting.
Yep.
Okay. So we did that already, right? We were absent in groups. And I went to city council meetings. I went to a lot of city council meetings in Tampa, but I was never successful. And I don't know if I tried or not. I'm going to be fully transparent with you, to get people to come to city council meetings when we were trying to get a civilian review board right here at the local level with teeth. I was in the news media. I was trolled and bird dog, buckhorn. There were a few of us. I remember Pamela and Chris Wilson and Sister Connie. I have the photos. We were doing that work, right? Kelly Benjamin. There was a Tampa group that went down there. The unions were there, but we didn't organize people to push them into these city council meetings so that we could look at these cases at the local level where they're adjudicated and at the state level. We were not doing that work. And so if the No Kings protests were to be a collective mourning in the streets with decided action at the local and state level, then I would absolutely love to see, as we could have done. I'm doing a double critique at this. I'm doing the simultaneous critique that if you are going to stand up for something, you have to stand up for it more than just in name. Okay, it takes the same amount of effort to go and deal with downtown parking and sit in a city council meeting for 2 hours as it does to draw your poster board and scream in the streets. It does. It takes the same amount of energy to counter protest as it takes to write a letter to your city council, city councilor, or your county commissioner. It takes the same amount of energy to ask a friend to vote at a critical time when we're about to get this guy who took Overman's seat on the council. Like we have to be present at all the levels. And so if it's performative that leads to something more, real organizing that has impact, yes. If it's performative so that you can have that pressure relief valve, we're actually doing them a service. Because if people feel like that they are effective by standing in the street holding a sign, then they may not be moved to do more.
All right. Let's talk to DeAndre and Brandon. Hi, DeAndre.
Hey, good morning. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but Grady Judd and his press conference recently now wants to clarify his position on immigration. And so this is my thing.
Wait, let's give some context for the folks who don't know what Grady Judd said.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, before he was campaigning with a lot of other right-wing sheriffs in Florida for the right-wing establishment in their elections. So, and we got it now. So there's pretty much that. But the part about it is this is the second time he's cried foul with the White House. The first time was when they had agents come down doing whatever they wanted, sniping some of their staff. And then now there's some clarification on basically E-Verify. They would like it to E-Verify, but the thing I've learned is on the left in Florida, nobody's really excited for E-Verify for some reason or another. I don't know if they're afraid for some reason, but that's what he's trying to point out his stance in being now. So I just thought that was interesting. But at any rate, y'all take care. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, DeAndre. All right, let me read just a couple of emails. Just remember, 200 years ago, 13-year-olds were getting married. They're still getting married.
And nobody was living past 40.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Let's put everything in perspective.
Good morning. Full body autonomy would be protectable, right? Except for the fact that our court's adoption of two things which allow the ruling classes to deny that. First is standing, second is precedent. These constructs prevent cases being brought to court. This dilemma was not created by accident. I disagree on your analysis, Howard, but we'll save that for another time. Let's see. Dan in Citrus Park says, love you ladies, great show. We all know Donnie is the worst president ever. My big concern is the new bill taking away mail-in voting. Any thoughts? I think that's one of the objectives. You know, they want to get everybody.
The SAVE Act is the exact opposite of the Voting Rights Act. And that's all you really have to look at.
Right.
It is denying people their franchise into voting. Mm-hmm. And it's really that simple. Like what we should have done when Obama was president with a supermajority was pass a comprehensive Voting Rights Act that wasn't just pre-screening for southern states, but all states.
Yes. One of many failures. All right. One lady says, let's see, this is Suzanne says this. No need to read this on the air. Too late. But I think it's time to change your closing song by Cardi B since she's now sucking up to... It's Nicki Minaj is the offender of whom you speak, Suzanne.
Yeah.
So,
Cardi B actually said she would never turn Republican.
Yeah, we know Cardi B wouldn't. So anyway, Frank is giving us the finger and it's time to go. But thank you for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Please join us again next week.
running, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong. I do what they say I